Well, welcome back to BayernNow, the ultimate Bayern Munich fan channel. Congratulations to Musiala for scoring a brace. That was beautiful. It was great. This is exactly what I was talking about. People called me a plastic when I made videos about how Bayern Munich have to back Hansi Flick, which I don't know how you called me a plastic for that. If anything, it's crazy because we all know why there's an internal dispute within the club right now. I personally know for a fact Hansi Flick is looking at his options off the bench and saying, my opposition has 10 players on the bench and I have 6, I have 5. Whose fault is that? He's looking at the sporting director and saying, I don't want to work with you. Position has 10 players on the bench and I have. Now you decide to show up. Look, your opposition, 10 players on that bench. You, 6, 5. And it's not necessarily the amount. It's about the quality of the amount. I made so many videos. Bayern need a back Flick because I understand the signs of this. This is exactly what Jupp Heynckes got here. Jupp won the treble. The backing, the backing really was that they kicked him out. And he came out a few months ago and said he wanted to stay, but Bayern wanted Pep Guardiola. So they bought Pep Guardiola and brought him in. Pep Guardiola, to a certain extent, as much as he underachieved here, he still got very little backing, but he did get enough to say he needed to win a Champions League. But here you have a manager who spends 1 year, wins the treble, takes you from a team that no one really valued to champions of Europe. You're thinking, I don't care if there are no fans in the stadium and the revenue's not as high. You won the Champions League. We earned like 100 million from the Champions League. We should have sponsors that end up going higher. We have players that are hitting market values that are higher. Obviously, as a club, we're not growing in revenue as much, but that doesn't mean a damn thing to me about the pandemic. It doesn't matter because we do this every time. Pandemic or no pandemic, we always act like this in the transfer window when it's important. Flick wanted a right back. And you know what? You know what this club did? They said, oh, well, yeah, Hansi, we're going to look at Serginho Dest for 10 months. Hansi Flick wanted Serginho Dest for 10 months. They waited. They had the longest transfer window in decades because of the pandemic. They waited. Thank you, Kellen. They waited. And then Davies did what he did to Semedo. Barcelona sold Semedo. And we watched them change the transfer story. No backing. And then Hansi still wants a right back. He's literally hinting it on press conferences. And as much as some of you don't rate Kai Havertz right now, Flick did say he wanted both of them with Timo Werner, which I don't know why you would have wanted Timo Werner. But Flick did want Havertz. That's where the links came from. Hansi Flick wanted Kai. And Bayern said, let's wait a year, stay at Leverkusen, we'll try to get you. Knowing damn well Chelsea were serious. Flick was patient. And he was like, you know what? Fine. I didn't get that one. Can I at least get the right back? Hell no. You get Bonasar. Bonasar. Who's Bonasar? And then Brazo came up with the most bullshit excuse. He said Hansi Flick recommended Bonasar after watching him play versus Olympic or when we played them in the friendly, when we played Marseille in the friendly. That's the most bullshit thing you can ever hear and make up. It was blasphemy to Flick to think Flick would recommend Bonasar. You think Hansi's not looking at Bonasar thinking what we're all thinking? We could have gotten Serginho Dest. We could have gotten Hakimi. We could have gotten someone so much better. It's not just about personnel. It's about the scenario by which he wasn't backed. This man won a Champions League. That's the first time we won a treble in 7 years, our second treble. You should be backing him. I don't care if there's... Look, you made money, obviously. Bayern made a lot of money from the Champions League. How come teams that didn't make as much money as us spent more money than us? There's no excuse for missing out on Dest because you didn't want to pay, was it 20 million for him? But you paid 8 million for Bonasar, and you're paying him like 5 million every year. So you're wasting your money. And Serginho Dest is a long-term investment. It makes sense. It's not just about Dest. Okay, Flick wants a striker, someone where he can trust if Lewandowski's out. Good job to Choupo-Moting for scoring 2 goals in the Champions League, but apart from scoring his occasional tap-ins, he's the most useless striker I've ever seen in my life. This man can't hold the ball up. It takes him 10 seconds just to bring the ball down from his chest. And then by that time, he's a snail, Gary the Snail, up top, just holding the ball for 10 hours. And he makes the game so slow. How do you go from Lewandowski to Choupo-Moting? You want to get like a Mandzukic? I'd rather have Mandzukic because at least I know he has ability. Olivier Giroud is better than Choupo. We bought a player PSG didn't want, and we beat PSG in the final. How the hell does that work? Okay, you get Choupo. You could have gotten a billion different strikers. So many of you all know more ball than our sporting director. You knew Memphis Depay was available. He's going to be available for free. Last season, we could have spent 10 million and we could have gotten Memphis Depay because Lyon knew they would have lost money on him. So they would have probably tried to rectify by actually selling him for a significantly lower price. You all knew that. Why did we ever go for someone like Memphis Depay? Why? Why do we have Choupo and Sarr? And then Flick wants a Thiago replacement. He wants someone great. Last day of the transfer window, they buy Rocca. Keep in mind, Rocca is someone that I don't mind being here. But clearly, Flick didn't want him. Clearly, there is look, we can bullshit about, what's the reason why Flick wants to leave? But we all know it's the backings he got. It's pretty, you can use your intuition. You don't have to be Stephen Hawkins to come to the conclusion that Hansi Flick is not happy with how they treated him in the transfer window. And we know that based off the fact that every manager feels the same way every time they come here and spend just a few seasons. It's like, look, fire Brazo if that's the case to keep Flick. I don't care. Look, Julian Nagelsmann, this isn't how I want you here. I want you here in 4 years, in 2 years. I want Flick here for 3 more years. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. By the way, according to Pletty Goal, it's not definitive yet for 2 reasons. One, the supervisory board, the majority of it is pro-Flick. So our board likes Flick and has to agree to his request, which means the players he wants for his philosophy, they have to sign no matter how much money. That's called risk. You take a risk. Come on. How are you marrying someone and don't take the risk of having a child with them because you think they're hideous? How does that work? That's funny. Okay, so on the other hand, if the club decides to part ways with Hassan Salah, whatever the hell his name is, because worst sporting director in history, and we all got on the wave of saying, "Oh, you're so good." I mean, a few years ago, I was calling him incompetent, and then I changed my mind because he seemed like he was gaining my trust, and then now this bull crap. Flick could rethink his decision. The reason why I would just oust the sporting director, it's hard to find a manager like Flick that fits the club like a glove. You don't think Hansi loved this club? You don't think he wants to stay here for as long as he has to? You don't think he wants to win another Champions League? You don't think he wants to work with some of the best players in the world? Davies, Muller, you don't think he wants to work with all of them? Do you not think that? Okay, so I'm guessing the only thing he wants is for better players, is for more personnel. He won the sextuple. Only 2 teams in FIFA have done that. Brazo never gave the man who he wanted. No depth this season. Thanks, Brazo. That's true. You know, so many of you are better sporting directors than our sporting director. We could have gone to Salzburg and signed Patson Daka from them, for goodness sake. And he would have been a better player than what we have now. I'm so annoyed. How did it get to this? Now, Lothar Matthäus is talking about Julian Nagelsmann, Manuel Neuer and Flick's decision. The reasons of the decision don't matter to us. It does matter to us, the fans. It was emotional. I mean, there was a point where Thomas Müller came out and said, we need better depth. We had the smallest squad in the Bundesliga at the beginning of the season. Bayern Munich, champions of Europe, had the smallest team accumulation of players in the whole Bundesliga. So the suggestion, you wanted Flick to use Oliver Batista Maya. That's what, oh, holy shit. Oliver Batista Maya as a backup don't make me slap you. You wanted that? No problem. No problem with the kid. But you wanted Flick to use him in Champions. This is what I was talking about. There is a level Bayern have to reach against PSG. First leg. Imagine if we actually had a backup striker that could score and actually fit our style of play. We wouldn't have been scared. The reason why we were all so down because Lewandowski wasn't here was genuinely because of the backup. We were looking at Choupo like, you're not going to touch Lewandowski. You're not even going to lace his boots. That's for sure. You're not even going to tie his cleats up. You're not even going to be able to wash his cleats from all the dirt. You're not that good. How the hell does that happen, man? It's just, look, the board at Bayern, they have an obsession with saving money. Where's all the money we've been saving for years for a situation like this, where we do need to back the manager imminently? Where did all that go? Why can't we just find the money, spend $100 million, buy a great backup striker? And people were laughing at me saying, well, it's just a backup. It's not like they're going to play. Choupo's starting in Champions Leagues for us. We didn't think Lewandowski was going to get injured, but that's why you have backups, because you assume he could get injured and you would need him at an important time. And we're Bayern Munich. We're Karma FC. We could literally get it. Müller could pull his hamstring, and then it's the most important game of the season, the next game. That's what could happen. Come on. You just keep hearing the same old things. People are telling me to respect Choupo. Get the hell out of here. He scored 2 goals, but you need to watch football. You have to be brain dead to believe Choupo-Moting is someone we need to be talking about in greatness right now. This man slows the game down for us astronomically, exponentially. He takes 10 seconds to bring the ball down. And after that 10 seconds, the whole pitch is already changed. The entire opposition team is back. He loses the ball at every single pass. I mean, there was just the one little moment where, if it was Müller and Lewandowski would skip the ball knowing Müller's right behind him because Müller was shouting for it. But Choupo tries to do this backheel pass when he knows what Müller wants to do is to have Choupo skip the ball, confuse the PSG defender, and then Müller would pass into the small pocket of space as Choupo was running to it, as Lewandowski was running to it. But Choupo decided to roll the ball around him. You ain't Ronaldo Nazario. You're Choupo. Flip. It's not even about the German national team, I don't believe, because if it was, he would have left last season. It's not. It's clearly Hansi's saying my future is not clear. That's what he actually said, right? And he said there are things we discussed internally and they will remain internal. I think Flick went with the board and said, hey, I don't like the sporting director we have. He didn't back me. I asked for this and I asked for that. And he flirted instead with CHO, Callum Hudson-Odoi. That's what Brazza was doing all summer. No wonder we had no business done. This man was flirting, playing hard to get with Callum Hudson-Odoi. He put all his eggs into that. He made us look like an embarrassment because that was a 2-year running transfer story. The guy doesn't even want to be here, and he's constantly getting us linked with him. And then he signs Bonasar. He signs Douglas Costa, and the justification for it, this fuckface said, I'm sorry. This man literally came out and said, the players suggested Douglas Costa, and that was his justification for signing him. That's not true. Our players did not go to our board and beg them to sign Douglas Costa. If that was the case, then I'm disappointed in our players. They knew Douglas was unreliable. And where was Douglas Costa? Musiala's doing more than him. We needed a backup winger, someone that could start for us and push our wingers to the edge. Great, we got Sane, but Sane wasn't actually back in Flick. Guys, we would have signed Sane if he never got injured. It's not like signing Sane was a great move to back Hansi Flick. I bet you Hansi didn't even make his mind up about Sane until like 3 weeks before the story came about. Hansi Flick, that was a Kovac thing. Sane was going to come in under Kovac, play on the left wing, and our emphasis under Kovac was to be with our wingers a lot. This is the same board that backed Niko Kovac more than they did Flick. Didn't they give Niko Kovac Goretzka? You gave Kovac Goretzka, and we had Perisic to come off the bench. Coutinho, as much as some of you don't like Coutinho, you used to make fun of him. Coutinho, Perisic, those names make people scared. Choupo-Moting and Bonassar don't make anyone scared. Defenders are laughing. The right wingers of our opposition are licking their lips. I'm not going to have to track back anyhow today because Douglas Eggless Costa won't even be here. Yokeless Costa. He has no yoke. He's unreliable and he's playing Fortnite. Lucas Hernandez. It's another one. Lucas has been amazing. And, it's not like Flick is completely blameless. I would have liked Flick to play Lucas more. What do we want Flick to do? They wanted him to turn water. He ain't Jesus. Turn water into wine. That's what they wanted with signing all these dead ballers. These farmers, as agricultural ballers. You'd need to plant them into the ground. They'd have to die first before they could spring back up and be plants. Goodness gracious. And then, when you say it out loud, people will call you a plastic for this type of crap. But it's the same thing that's been happening for years. That you're just noticing it. And all of you here, you know go back to the videos about how Bayern Munich need to back Flick. I said it. If we don't back Flick, he'll probably want to leave because he'll be like, yo, I'm a manager. I'm not just a pity guy. I don't have pity for Bayern. I want backing. I want players. I'm just going to go then. And look, what if Flick is threatening to leave and coming public because he knows the fans will be in uproar? I choose Flick. I made a poll a week ago. Flick versus Brazo. The comment. Why are you putting this guy against this guy? Because it's the reality of what's happening in the club. What am I supposed to do? Not put... It's just so weird how that logic works. Got people laughing at us. It's fine. You could have your little fun. Your time will come. Flick wanted Musiala, and that was one of the few players Flick, Musiala came here before Hansi was even manager. He came here in 2019 or late 2020. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. Look how he's doing now. The man is a winner. He knows his shit. That's true. Sorry for cursing so much. We needed to. Can you imagine Allegri's a successor? No. Allegri doesn't fit Bayern's philosophy one bit. If we sign Max Allegri, that's the equivalence of signing Jose Mourinho. We don't need Allegri right now. We need Flick, and we need to sack Brazo. I think it's easier to do that. Flick had to have gone to the board and said, hey, I don't want Brazo here. I don't want to work with him. It's normal. You could work with someone and say, man, I don't like working with you. I used to work with this kid. I didn't like working with him. I just distanced myself because I said, he's not good at his job. He's not good at doing what he does. I just spoke to a former business partner and he said he and his other business partner just parted ways because they didn't agree, that's normal. That's how business is. I still have some lines on my head. Don't know why. Put user in timeout. You just woke up to this crap. Well, look, today is not going to be about Musiala scoring a beautiful Messi-esque goal with his right foot near post. It's about PSG. It's about Bayern and Flick. It's a Saturday. I need to go out to the mall and get me a sexy suit. Come on. That's what I'd like to focus on. Get me a nice suit. That's what I want to do today. But I'm making a live stream about Hansi Flick. I let the news sink in for the last few hours. I didn't care to do a match reaction right now at them. You know what? I grew so disinterested with this until Lewandowski comes back. I don't like watching Chupo, man. For God's sake, he makes my life hell. I don't want to watch him on stream. I'd rather just not do a watch along. I'd rather just watch it offline by myself. Lonely. I'd rather just do it. I love doing the watch-alongs for you peoples. There are games where, I just don't even want to turn on the camera. I'd just rather watch it by myself. I don't even want to. We want to have fun. Yeah, and Lucas, I hope he's okay. Lucas is okay. So he said it himself. He's okay. He's moving forward. That's what it is. Yeah, it's just really annoying. We need De Jong. Thiago left the club for a new experience, wasting his time at Liverpool, for being honest. And Bayern's response was, we're not going to sign a like-for-like replacement. He could have gone to, look, we always say, what were our options? What were our options? What were our options? That's the thing. Couldn't we have gone to Serie A and found I don't know, look at AC Milan. They're not as good as us. We could have signed some of their players. For goodness sake, we could have signed Zlatan better than Chupo. Just look at AC Milan's team. I don't know why I'm saying AC Milan, but just look at their team. Good team in Serie A. Just go to their squad and say, I'm going to pick off a few players. They have a striker. I think his name, they have, what's his name? Rafael Leao. Decent striker. Can cover. Go to Hertha Berlin next season. Look, this is how creative we have to be. Hertha Berlin, we're supposed to be good. Go to Hertha and say, hey, Hertha, we want Cunha. Cunha's a baller. He's great. He's a great player. He scored a goal against us. He's a Brazilian, saucy, hardworking, not diving. It's like he has all the great Brazilian traits. And he's also efficient, hence why Leipzig wanted him. He has that German efficiency because he picked it up from the Bundesliga. And he's just go there and say, we want Mateus Cunha. And they have to solve the big problem. Go to Ajax. Say, hey, Ajax, you have this nice guy named Anthony. Since we're buying Cunha, we want a winger that's like Douglas Costa, but nothing like him. Tell Ajax, Anthony's great. He's scoring and he's fit. Solutions for us. We want a winger. He's 21. Let's sign him. And he's a hardworking Brazilian. What's happening with these Brazilians getting all of a sudden good at hardworking? He's a hardworking Brazilian, ability-filled winger. More. And say, hey, we want him. Ajax says, oh, you have to pay this amount of money. Oh, you have to pay 40 million. You get him. Cunha, 30 million. You just paid 70 million and you got a saucy Brazilian winger. Let me see how much his transfer price was. What was his transfer? They paid 17 million for him last year. 40 million for this guy would be a steal. It's literally amazing. Left-footed, 8 assists, 8 goals in the Eredivisie. He's performing in the Champions League when he's called upon. Great winger. Say you want him. He stays fit as well. Oh, come on. It's so simple. Oh, 40 mil, 30 mil, 70 million you just spent. You look for a right back. Who do I get? I don't know. Maybe you go for Ryan grab. I'm serious. You look around and you say, wow, we really can't find any good right backs. How do we solve a problem like this? I don't know. You go to Leicester City in England and say, hey, can we do a loan deal on Ricardo Pereira? Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure it's possible. This guy's 27. You have to be unique. Look at me thinking off the top of my head. You can't do a loan deal on Ricardo? You go scouting. Find a good young, or at least if they're not young, fair age right back. Don't look for Danny Carvajal. That's such a dumb solution. It's just, he plays for Real Madrid. Okay, he must be good enough for Bayern. Don't do that. That's dumb. You look for this guy. You look for Lamptey. I don't know. Jesse Lingard at this point. Lamptey, look. You just say, we could get Johan Cruyff. He'd do a better job than Chupo. Sign him a striker. Look, this guy, Kavicha. Never heard of him. But if our board knew him, you go and say, how do we get a Thiago-esque midfielder? You do your research. Let's go to Serie A. Fabian Ruiz has the same dribble success rate as Thiago. He's left-footed, and he's just an overall competent baller in the Serie A. Napoli, how much do you want for him? Okay. It's so simple. His market value is 50 million. You could try things. We're Bayern. We won the Champions League. You mean to tell me if we went to these players and said, we want your player, they're going to say no? They're going to have to say yes. And then you say, wow, we really need to have, I don't know, a Kimmich in the midfield. Or I guess that would be Fabian Ruiz. Or you go to AC Milan and say, Ishmael Ben Issa, come on, come to Bayern, my guy. You look like you're good enough. He's injured right now, I think. 23, with a lot of ability and potential in the future. Your backup striker. Memphis Depay, you're available for free. Memphis, you have different talent, and you can offer solutions that we just can't get through, and you're free. Memphis, come to Bayern, and you bring a profile. You bring fans. You bring marketability because you make music videos. I don't care if he does. He's a baller on the pitch. He works hard. I don't know. If Barcelona is still trash, you go to De Jong and say, hey, Frankie, you think you could ever join a different club? Frankie's like, I'm unhappy here. And you say, hey, Frankie, if you want to join us, we want great players like you. We want to build. You can spend 100 million, just 100, and you could buy all these players. You could get some on loan. You could save for the future. But you know what Bayern do? Nope. You could call up Ian Robin and say, Ian, you're definitely Odriozola. We made fun of that guy just to sign Chupo. Memphis wants Barca. Look, I get that. But Dest said it himself. He thought he was joining us. Serginho Dest thought he was joining Bayern, which tells me all I need to know. We had the deal in the bag and we fumbled it. How do you fumble a deal you've been working on or looking at for 10 months? I used to do business in a different context. If I'd been working on a project for 10 months, best believe I'm planning on finishing it. How are people going to trust me to ever do business with them if players are looking at it like Bayern were looking at Dest for 10 months and they didn't go for him? Bayern were looking at Sané for months and they waited for City to play him and injure him, and then they waited a year just to get Sané, who will be delayed by next, this whole season. Sane won't be back until next season, where he'll have a little bit of motivation and 100% of his confidence and trust in his own body. We're only ahead in the Bundesliga because Leipzig suck, because Dortmund are trash. If Leipzig won yesterday, we were this close to drawing this game without Musiala. And then we have so much patience with players like Tolisso. How do we keep having so much patience with Tolisso? This guy, people made fun of me, again, called me a plastic for saying this. I always said it. Sell Tolisso. I get it. He wore a Bayern shirt when he was 11. That's nice. But sometimes it's not worth it to keep a player solely because he wore a Bayern shirt when he was 11, when he's getting injured every week. I love how Bayern's justification for not going for Brozovic was, oh, he's not better than Tia, or better, he's not Bayern quality. And then they didn't sign. And then Perisic. Flick wanted to keep Perisic. Oh, we don't want to pay 20 million. We want to pay 8 million, 10 million. I get it. I actually didn't want Perisic for 30 million, of course, or 20 million or 25. I don't know what it was. I didn't want him for that much. That was too much money. I always said it on this channel. Let's go for Hakimi. Let's go for Hakimi. People, he's not actually a right back. He's only a right wing back. I'm like, if you could play him and if he can defend 1v1s, he's good. All he has to do is defend 1v1s. And that's something that he can do. Defend 1v1s. Hakimi's a great 1v1 defender. Maybe not necessarily the greatest right back defender of all time. It's not like we have great defenders in our team. Some of our defenders are just good attackers, and they fill up the void for defensive ability with their attacking capability. Hakimi would have been so amazing. Imagine having Hakimi in a game like that. No disrespect to Pavard. He played well in both legs. No disrespect to him. But he's not the right. I don't even like making fun of Pavard anymore, because I actually feel bad for him, because we didn't buy Pavard to be our starting right back. We probably bought him to be a center back, and then we didn't have anyone else for right back, so we played him there. For games like 5 games or 10 games up to this season, we played Niklas Jula right back. Look how incompetent the team is. And it's not like Bonassar is just bad. He's also incredibly unreliable with a lot of injuries. Appreciate the support today. Make sure you leave a like. Brazo and I not being hater, but he needs to go. Look, I don't like saying that. Do you want Klopp as a manager? It doesn't matter who the manager is. It doesn't. If Julian Nagelsmann comes here, it doesn't matter, because we have the same problem, which is our board don't know how to look. Is this Kavicha guy a right back? Let me look up this highlight. See what he's about. He's similar to Anthony from Ajax. He's similar to a few players. Winger. Oh, he already looks better than Douglas Costa, that's for sure. Jabozley was another one. I'm sure, look, we could have signed that guy for literally 10 million. We could have signed Jabozley for 10 million. I'm sure, and people say, well, he doesn't want to be a backup. And then I keep telling you, our team we're Karma FC. We always get injuries every 2 minutes. That's our business model. If we're not getting injuries, we're not Bayern. We need to have the deepest team in Europe, because we don't know how to keep players fit. I think it has something to do with the German weather. It's just so cold in Germany, maybe, that our players and their muscles freeze up, and then they tear their muscles easier. Yeah. Maybe in other countries like England, the weather is more relaxed, where players stay fit. In France, it's a little bit warmer in general. In Spain, Messi never gets injured. But players come here. Tanguy Nianzou came here, 2 injuries back-to-back. And look, this season's not just about the signings we made. Our tactical decisions weren't the best. I think Flick shouldn't have been playing Alaba every single game. But now that I think about it, who could he have played? Look at this Vicha guy, man. Kavicha. Look at him balling. He'd definitely make a better winger than a lot of what we have. And he's going to AC Milan. If you're a winning coach, the board should let the coach have the final say. If you won as a coach, I don't give a damn who my sporting director is. I won the Champions League. You don't have any control over me. Arp got injured. Who bought Jan Techie Feet Arp? As I like to call him. There's nothing technical about his feet. He's horrible. Who bought him? Was it not our board that bought him? Was it not them? Who bought Arp? We paid, how much money? We paid like $1 million, 1.5 or 2.5 for Arp. We're paying him almost $5 million a year. We're paying $5 million a year. Why is he here for $5 million a year? What's Arp offering our team? These are questions we need answered. Bayern should buy Camavinga, Saul Niguez, and or Nehus. One of them. A good right back, Heung-min Son. Son's going to cost you $1 billion. This is it doesn't matter what manager. I don't care who we're thinking of replacing Flick with. I'd rather not have us be replacing Flick. I want to terminate my contract this summer. This is a fact. It was important to me that the team finds out about it for me personally. I already told the people in charge after a Champions League elimination during the week. You have our opposition saying it's disappointing for them to have lost. That's the level we're at. The decision was not easy for me. I'm a fan of this club. Gerd Müller, Paul Breitner, Karl-Heinz were all part of childhood idols. I'm grateful to the club for the chance they gave me to become head coach. Hansi, there are things we discussed internally, and they will remain internal. My future is not clear. The DFB is an option every coach has to consider, but the last few weeks have not been as easy. I was in the process of informing the club and my team, which was very important. There's nothing more to say. These internal disputes, we know exactly what it is. We know what it is. We know what it is. I think Pletigo is right. Maybe this part, I think it's definitive, like it's decided, but I think he's right about this. On one hand, I think some parts of the board, a majority, they support Flick, but they have to agree with his request. Maybe they don't want to agree with his request. Maybe he wants a lot of players, which he deserves, by the way, for winning us the Champions League and all. On the other hand, if the club decides to part ways with Salihamidzic, Flick could rethink his decision. Brazo needs to go. He's a shite sporting director. I don't care, Roberto. I don't give a damn. It doesn't matter who you hire. It's not about this. Come on. Understand. It's not about who you hire right now. It's about how you back them, how you actually approach giving them the players they actually ask for. That's what it's about. It's not about the managers right now. We could hire. It's not. That's the problem. That's been the biggest problem at Bayern. We think, all we got to do to solve this problem we're in, this conundrum, is to just hire a new coach. That's not what it is. Or, for me, I'm not focusing on who we hire. I get where you're coming from. Like, these are options. But for me, the bigger problem is the fact that it will remain a problem no matter who the manager is or who we hire to replace Flick. All right. I need to go chill out. Appreciate everyone that's been watching this. Thank you so much for all the super chats. Why do I have to get, financial support for having to make a 40-minute long rant of our board? Get whipped. Get whipped for saying that. Get out of here with that. Frank Lampard is available. What's wrong with you, man? We're not that stupid. Come on, our board would hire anyone. They won't. They would. They're not hiring Lampard. Come on, man. Don't blaspheme us like that. We would never hire Lampard. Get whipped though. Get whipped for saying that. We want Pep as coach. No. We want competency at the board, at the director of football position. That's the most important thing. That's who we need. That's what we have. We have to have. I still think Flick could stay if he was promised to be given everything he asked for. I bet you Flick spoke with the board and said, "Hey, I won you the Champions League. I want some new players." Imagine Hansi going to, I don't know, like what not Spurs. Flick's not going to, like a Real Madrid. This would pit that would you know that's what Florentino Perez is thinking. Viens aquí, Hansi. You'll get all the money you need. That's what it is. That's what Real Madrid is an option. If those guys don't win the Champions League, because they will beat Chelsea. Chelsea could. If Chelsea gets to the Champions League final, I'm ending my life, and I'm never making a video again. Or if they win the Champions League, rather. Florentino Perez is sitting there rubbing his hands, saying he's getting a Bayern. He's probably thinking about it. I mean, that's the or Juventus. I don't know. More likely, Real Madrid. Flick will go there, learn some Spanish, or he's going to the DFB. But I don't even think he's going to the DFB because the DFB aren't sacking Joachim. If it was about the World Cup, he would resign after next season and just join up with the DFB camp, and he'd make it like a good thing, right? A good announcement. It's not about the 2022 World Cup. It's not about the Euros because, Germany already said they're keeping their guy. Why is he announcing it now? After a Champions League loss where the team is feeling down, where he knows the problem was not him, but the board, the director of football. I think Flick is sending this as I'm tired of this board. I'm tired of them. And unless they fix up and fire Brazzo, because Brazzo's been here for, 4 years now? Is it 3? I don't know. He's been here, and I don't know a memorable thing that he has done that I just thought, oh, you're so amazing, even though he has done some good things. Musiala, thank you for this game. I got to go, man. Mia and peace. Lowe is resigning. Oh, Joachim Lowe resigned? Of course he did. Did Joachim Lowe resign? Oh, no, but I thought it was after the Euros. Yeah, it said after the Euro. Why is he resigning? This is not possible, man. Why didn't I see this on the news? Yogi Lowe did not resign. You're kidding. So Sky Germany thinks Flick will leave Bayern to become Germany manager. This just sounds like bullcrap to me. It just sounds too convenient. So they're looking at Julian Nagelsmann, who is not what we need right now. We need him in 2 years. I want Flick here, but it sucks. Goodbye.